Hey guys, I figured this was a good time to come on here and post a video with some information and talk about what's going on in the housing market. We're all seeing, the news stories and the mortgage rates are rising and all these things. I was talking to one of our lender partners today, Doug Wagner, over across country, and I was like, man, Doug, what's going on? He said, hey, man, listen, pricing's up, rates are up, and it's just the way that it is the Fed tries to fight inflation. Um, and I've been having conversations with clients as well, buyer clients as well as seller clients, and the sellers are starting to feel like, oh gosh, did we miss the market here? Are we too late to put our house on the market? And I think a lot of that is because they're reading the news stories with these really sensationalized headlines. And I see them too. They say things like the housing market is grinding to a halt, or the housing market is cratering, or, all these things, these big hyperbolic words that make everything sound so terrible. And part of me thinks that that's just clickbait material. The people that write about real estate, and real estate's very topical, they need you to click on the link, and good news doesn't get you to click on the link. So they need to scare you, much like with everything else, to just make you want to click on it and read it. What we're seeing in our business is what I would refer to as a return to normalcy, and I think so many people got used to the last 2 years of market activity, where a house went on the market on Friday. By Sunday, it had 25 offers on it, and things were flying, off the market and at these inflated prices. And that has stopped. And we've been talking about this in our social media posts for the last few weeks. We can see it in real time happening very, very quickly, where all of a sudden we're putting homes on the market and they aren't getting a bunch of phone calls, and we're not having 40 people at open houses and all these things. But here's the thing, 2 years ago, prior to the pandemic, the average days on market for a house in St. Pete was 30 to 45 days. And the average sales price was about 95% of the asking price. And it was that way for years. And everybody was like, man, we're in a very healthy housing market. So as we move back to the pre-pandemic way of doing business and real estate, and getting away from the overheated last 2 years of pandemic buying, it feels weird to people, and people feel like, hey man, the market is just taking a dump and everything's falling apart. And I'm not really seeing that that's really the case. We put 3 houses on the market over the last 4 days. We've received offers on 2 of them, and the other two we've got 2 showing, or the other one we've got 2 showings on today. That's normal. That's the way things were prior to 2020. So to allay some fears and to kind of just put it out there that, hey, what we're probably seeing here is a return to normalcy. Yes, is it more expensive to borrow money today than it was 6 weeks ago, 6 months ago? It is. But at 5 and even 6%, it's still a lot lower than it was in the early 2000s when it was 7%. And it's certainly a lot lower than it was in the 80s when it was 19 and 20%. Yes, housing prices are different now as they were then, and I get it and all that. But the 2% and the 3%, those were artificially low numbers that were designed to kickstart economic activity during the pandemic, and to get people out there buying homes and refinancing homes, and to keep commerce sort of moving. Those numbers were unsustainable. 20% value growth year over year for homes in the marketplace was unsustainable. And as we return back from that, we hear people talking about the housing market crashing, and what it's doing is returning to normal. Now, listen, I'm not clairvoyant. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know where inflation goes the rest of the year. I don't know where interest rates go the rest of the year. There's certainly people as, much more educated on those things than I am. But as we watch housing return to what it was pre-pandemic, I'm not panicked. Tina's not panicked. Our lender partners aren't panicked. The other agents I know in the marketplace aren't panicked. In fact, some of us are feeling like, okay, listen, this becomes a more manageable market for our buyers. It becomes a better time for our buyers to buy. And our sellers return to a bit of normalcy, where we can go into a listing knowing that it's probably going to take 15 to 30 days to get your property under contract. And you'll probably get close to what you're asking for it, but you're not going to get $30,000 above what you're asking for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally okay. So no, you haven't missed the market if you're getting ready to sell. And if you've been trying to buy and sitting on the sidelines, here's what you got to do. You got to call your lender, get a mortgage refresh, make sure that you know where your buying power falls now with the new interest rates, and then get out there and start looking at homes that maybe are going to be a little less competitive than they were in the last 2 years, which is a good thing for you as a buyer. So that's what I'm seeing in our business. If you guys have any questions, any comments, you can always leave comments in the comment section below, or call me or text me 727-639-3888. Love talking about real estate and what's going on in the market, so don't be a stranger.